All right, so let's start with our big focus at this hour. Now, the whole world is dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and in some nations, the governments are being very circumspect as to how to, in fact, ease the lockdown restrictions. But the situation is very different in China, which is all set to hold its annual Congress or the two sessions on Friday. It is the biggest political gathering of the year in China, and President Xi Jinping will, of course, be using this occasion to project strength as he deals with the biggest challenge that he's encountered in his presidency. And this is where it gets very interesting. 3,000 delegates will be present in person, and they'll be coming in from the length and breadth of China. They'll be descending onto Beijing tomorrow from all 31 provinces of the country. They'll take part in the annual meeting of the National People's Congress, which is the legislative body in China. Now, the most important thing to know about this meeting is that it is heavily choreographed. The delegates are hand-picked members of the Communist Party, and their role is to merely rubber stamp the new bills and proposals put forth by the party. But we cannot, of course, ignore the fact that grim shadow of COVID-19 looms large in the backdrop of this meeting. So here's what you can expect. The President Xi Jinping will declare complete victory in the people's war over COVID-19 in China. Now, the idea appears to be to project normalcy to the world and show that China has managed to fight and win against COVID-19, and that it is now all business as usual. Now, Premier Li Keqiang will also be presenting the annual report, where he'll be setting China's new economic growth targets. A financial stimulus package is also expected. There are also reports that China could revise its animal epidemic law. Now, there has been a global backlash against China over its wet markets and exotic and wild animal trade. A vote is expected on China's first ever civil court, which will formalize property and personal rights. It is said to be part of President Xi Jinping's plan to reform the legal system in the country. Now, these, of course, are very challenging times for China. The world is blaming China for the pandemic. Its renegade province, Hong Kong, is up in arms. Taiwan is being showered with global support for formal recognition. And for the first time since 1992, China's economy has also contracted for a quarter. But China is, of course, looking to push back against its critics, especially the United States, responding to the growing calls for foreign manufacturers to exit China. The Beijing has said that political power cannot change economic laws. Now, the circumstances of this Congress are quite extraordinary. For starters, it was postponed from March to the 22nd of May due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The Assembly normally goes on for about 14 days, but this time round, it will wind up after just 7 days. Now, all delegates have been in quarantine for a period of 14 days and have been tested for COVID-19. Non-delegates and journalists have been asked to follow the meetings on video links, and reports indicate that top government officials will also be holding fewer press briefings this time round.